The railroad arrived here in 1866, and the community grew up around it. If you go to downtown Bryan, you can still see the railroad tracks and the trains going through, and now the city's trying to find some way to keep the trains from making all the noise that disturbs people. I happen to love the sound of trains, but College Station, when A&M went in and opened in 1876, of course, it was 5 or 6 miles south of downtown Bryan, and it was a campus. Everything was involved until after World War II. The professors lived on campus, the students lived on campus, and they would come into Bryan. Eventually, there was an interurban trolley. Bryan provided everything. They provided the utilities, they provided the library, the shopping experience, the parks. Everything that people needed was here in Bryan. And then when Earl Rudder wisely altered the course of A&M forever, College Station started to grow. There were a couple of housing subdivisions at Eastgate and Southgate, but College Station grew, and it reached the point where it didn't want to be dependent on Bryan anymore. It went with its own utilities, which turned out to be good for Bryan because we had an excess capacity of power generation for some time, and we didn't have to keep building power plants to help serve College Station. And then College Station got its own parks and what have you. And so there was a lot of resentment on the part of Bryan that here was this ungrateful child to the South who didn't appreciate all that Bryan had done for it, and tended to lord over College Station, all that it had done. And College Station got its feelings hurt because, well, thank you very much, Bryan, but we're our own city and wanna be. So that continued for a long time. It continues in some respect to this day, but it's altered. The two cities get along pretty well, but occasionally issues will arise that, such as trash collection and what have you, that still can get pretty ugly at times. I remember one day at the paper, Travis Bryan Jr. came in, and this was Mr. Bryan. I mean, he represented the town, and his family gave the name to the town and so forth, and he met with us and said, I think it's time we merge the two cities. Remember, this was the most powerful man in town, and he couldn't make it happen. This was back in the late 80s. So, people have said, we'd save money, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. Bryan deteriorated considerably after College Station grew, but now it's coming back strong, and I think it's good to have two healthy, vibrant communities.